Hey, what's going on, people? It's SGZ here from the Spartan Game Zone, and in this video I'll be counting down the top 10 weirdest and wackiest weapons in Borderlands 3. Out of the countless weapons in this game, there's bound to be some that are a little crazy, and these are some of the strangest and most unique weapons you can ever wish to obtain. I'll be showcasing them in all their unbridled glory, as well as tell you how you can get them in case you wanted to try them out for yourself. I had a lot of fun getting these guns, so if all goes well, expect a part 2 and let me know what you think should be in it. I'm also looking to start counting down the top 10 weapons for each character next week, so look out for that. If you enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate it if you could drop a like, and let's crack into it. But before we do, I'm happy to announce that my track Hundreds, which you'll be hearing after I finish speaking, has finally gone live after a little bump in the release. NatRaps is the artist, it's Spartan backwards, and Hundreds is the song name. You can listen to it on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube Music, and pretty much everywhere else. And shout out to Max Kleinen for the album cover image. Links are in the description, and I really hope you enjoy listening. Up first we have the Super Ball, a melee 1 pistol that has an increased chance to drop from Baron Noggin, who you fight around in this area of the Meridian Metroplex. The Super Ball always comes in incendiary without a charge time and takes a lot of effort to make work. That's all thanks to its unique firing pattern, as it shoots orbs of fire in a short arc that bounce around multiple times, echoing the sounds of Super Mario. It sounds like you're gaining XP as you fire off those rounds, but that next level never comes. Its bullets bounce around randomly, often over your opponents, and you need a good understanding of science and other stuff to consistently hit criticals. Overall, its damage isn't great, but it can always be counted on to give you a hit of that 8-bit nostalgia. Now to the butt plug, a Jacob's pistol that works best from behind. It can be obtained from the quest Dump on Dump Truck, but only if you shoot him in the booty, and you can start that quest by heading to Ellie's garage, located around here in the Droughts. The butt plug is a weapon designed for rear engagement. Like a ninja, you must approach your target unseen and strike from behind. This is Borderlands though, and that's not very practical. But you can achieve the same success by just stabbing your enemies in the back. When you do that, its original 110% melee damage will be doubled to 220%, making it the highest damaging close contact melee weapon in the entire game. Combine that damage with traditional melee support items like the Brawler Ward Shield and the White Elephant artifact, and the butt plug will more than tickle enemies. Now to the Night Flyer, which can only be obtained by defeating Rackman, who you fight all the way over here in Carnivora. It's of course a reference to Batman, what with the Rack signal in the sky and the battle in the Rack Cave, but this Easter egg goes a bit further. With the Night Flyer you can't kill things because Batman has one rule, and that rule is thou shalt not kill. The Night Flyer leaves everyone on just 1 HP, as they enter their own immunity phases, leaving each shot to bounce right off them. Unfortunately, in Borderlands, things have to die for you to progress, making the Night Flyer useless in that regard, although it'll do 99% of the work. It also has a unique firing pattern where it'll change depending on if you're airborne or not. With 2 feet planted on the ground, it fires in a burst, but when you have liftoff, it becomes fully automatic. I'm not exactly sure where that fits into the lore, but it's another hook to its grapple. Number 7, and it's the Ghetto Burger, a fast-firing corrosive launcher which you can obtain by completing the food and drink quest line in Meridian Metroplex. The first quest is located around here. As its name may suggest, the Ghetto Burger doesn't fire rockets like a normal rocket launcher, but burgers, cheeseburgers to be in fact, and because it deals corrosive damage, it's safe to say that those patties have spoiled. Shooting burgers out of a specially crafted launcher may not have been Mr. Torg's best idea, but it certainly speeds up delivery times. And if they're not happy with the state that their food is in, which I may add they never are, you can always smack them with more until their satisfaction meter is full. It's a crazy gun which will make you hungry if you look at it for too long. And I can't wait to see what business venture Mr. Torg decides to take on next. The Shotty sits in 6th place, a non-elemental Jacobs shotgun exclusive to DLC 3, which you pay a whopping 15 grand for during the quest money back guarantee. The reveal of the gun is grandiose, the gun itself not so much, and you can start that quest around here in the blast plains. The Shotty probably takes the cake for worst gun in the entire game. I mean, it doesn't even work. You should be able to tell that just by looking at it, but that's highlighted by the red text which reads 100% genuine fakeabs. Yes, the gun is a knockoff. Here's what happens when you fire it, and no, it's not nothing. The pellets just fall to the ground. You have to be careful not to shoot yourself in the foot with it, but you don't really because it barely does any damage. Getting gameplay with this gun was hard. I mean, I probably wouldn't even call this gameplay. To hit your enemies, you need to be literally touching them. The barrel needs to be in their face, and sometimes when it is, I just fire over their shoulders. It's hilarious, and I'm really hoping we get a legendary version called the Sloppy or something that actually does some heavy damage. I'd rate that. Halfway through, and it's the Iridium Fabricator, more commonly known as the Gun, which you get given by Typhon de Leon near the end of the main story. People went crazy when they saw guns with legs in the first Borderlands trailer, but how about a gun that shoots guns that have legs? If you're lucky. It originally only had this single firing mode, which cost 10 Iridium to spawn 10 guns ranging from green to purple rarity, but now has an alternate firing mode costing 250 Iridium, which will almost exclusively spawn legendaries, and you can even get some of the very guns featured in this countdown if you've completed the required quest. If you have the Iridium to spare, you can create your own glistening pool of orange gold and frolic around in them to your heart's content. It can only spawn base game legendaries or base game weapons in general, and it's not really useful for killing bad guys. So I'm still waiting for the alternate firing mode that turns the guns you shoot into projectiles that explode on impact. In 4th place is the Porter Pooper 5000, and that's not a skin I put on it, that's just what it looks like. You can obtain one by completing the quest Porter Prison, which you can start here in Letra City. This quest is the one that I remember the most. I did it early on and it's great. It involves rescuing someone from a locked porta potty, and it's locked on them because of the weapon they're carrying. That same weapon is the one you get from completing the quest, and you certainly wouldn't find a gun like this in any other game. Its firing arc is pretty shallow and has this really bassy sound to it, so bassy that it's bound to scare off opponents. And it even talks too. It's the perfect gun if you want to turn up the heat and douse your enemies with the goo from Timbuktu. Its splash radius is high and it's great at proccing the radiation aura. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen Captain Tronk get shat on this hard before, but the Porter Pooper does it like very few guns can, and if you're ever looking for inspiration, just pull it out and listen to what it has to say. The bronze medal goes to the Bubble Blaster, which is a unique quest item from DLC 3 that can be obtained by completing the quest Dirty Deeds, which you start around here in Ashfall Peaks. The Bubble Blaster is one of very few guns in this countdown that actually does some decent damage. which is a little strange because it shoots bubbles. I'm not kidding, it fires irradiated bubbles in a 3-round burst that gracefully float upwards and burst after a few seconds. When those bubbles pop, they explode, squirting contaminated soapy water into the eyes of any nearby enemies, rendering them near blind and dealing big damage. Its blast radius is huge, especially on Moes, and if you're too close, you need to make sure you're wearing glasses or you'll get soap in your eyes too. It's also the same gun which the game's only raid boss, Sponge Boss Bullet Pants, dual wields as he peppers you with detergent during the final DLC. Some say Sponge Boss is Salvador from Borderlands 2, and I'm not gonna say it isn't. In second place is the Predatory Lending, a Hyperion pistol that can only be dropped by Lavender Crawley. You fight around in this area of the droughts. You've heard of guns being ammo hungry before. Well, the Predatory Lending is money hungry, consuming your hard-earned cash each time you fire. Each shot will waste away between $1 and $3, leaving you with less dough in the po. It's like that girl who's always using your money to buy shoes or something. I wouldn't know, but I think I remember hearing it in a movie. You can see its firing pattern here. Crisp $1 bills and shiny gold coins spill out of its barrel, spraying the area with bling. Its magazine size is massive too, and with its fire rate, your bank will be emptied out fast. It can be useful when you've somehow expended every single ammo type and can't get any more, or if you just feel like making it rain. Number 1, we're here, what a ride. The Firecracker sits on the throne, an incendiary Hyperion shotgun that you can receive from the DLC 2 quest Happily Ever After, which you can start in the lodge after completing the second DLC's main questline. The Firecracker is a celebration in your hands. With it you can spread the love as 10 radiant firecrackers zip out of its barrel and paint the area with hearts. There's no pattern to them whatsoever, which makes using it in practice a bit difficult, but it sure is pretty to look at. If you're ever looking for a weapon to end all hatred in the Borderlands, this is the gun to do it with. I never knew something could look so pretty but be so deadly until I equipped it in my hands. Each firework deals big damage, and when you can concentrate all 10 of them in a small area, you will blow away your target. To do that, you want to aim at their feet to minimize the randomness and spread of each firecracker. It's a crazy awesome gun both to use and to behold, and it's the only gun in the entire game where you can celebrate each kill at the exact moment you get one. So that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it and learned of the 10 weirdest and wackiest weapons in Borderlands 3, and let me know what you think is a good contender for part 2. If you did, consider dropping a like or subscribing, and I'll catch you in the next one.